The Central Corridor is one of Africa's most strategic and rapidly evolving transport and trade network, connecting.
Hello Railways Africa viewers, welcome to landlocked Zambia. I am extremely fortunate because it's a really big project that we're going to be talking about.
Central Corridor is going very well. That's why we came here in Zambia to attend this landlocked conference 2026 to discuss about the issue related to logistics and trade. So you cannot talk about trade without logistics. You cannot talk about logistics without trade. Central Corridor is going very well. For those who are not aware about the Central Corridor is a corridor management institution formed by 7 countries. We were established in 2006 and our HQ is based in Dar es Salaam. And the Central Corridor is unique. It's unique because it is operated within 3 RECs, the regional economic blocks. You have East Africa Community, you have SADC, but also COMESA. So we are operating there, linking the countries who are between the 3 RECs. But also Central Corridor is unique because it is one corridor management institution which has various routes. You have the central route which connected the port of Dar es Salaam to eastern part of DRC through Dodoma, which is in the capital of United Republic of Tanzania. But also you have the southern route. The southern route mainly connect Malawi, Zambia, Lubumbashi in the south part of DRC to the Dar es Salaam port. So this makes our corridor very unique with a big economic growth per year. But we are serving also more than 200 million people within this region. The region of Central Corridor is very dynamic. The region is very rich in terms of natural resources, but also in terms of water. All Great Lakes of Africa, they are part of the Central Corridor region. Central Corridor is a framework. We have some organs. We have Interstate Council of Ministers, where all ministers of transport of 7 countries are sitting as a member. We have also the board, executive board of directors, where all permanent secretaries of the Minister of Transport of the 7 countries are sitting, plus the CEO of a private sector. So you see how the Central Corridor is unique because there, at a decisional level, you fund also the private sector in order to influence, to advocate the process, during the process of this decision making, the transformation of this corridor. So apart of the board, you have also the stakeholders consultative committee, which is a consultative organ where the public and the private sector players are sitting there consulting about matters related to trade and logistics. Then you have also the secretariat where the executive secretary, Advocate Flory is leading the organization. So this is how we are organized and this is who we are.
So you also, as a Central Corridor, you also coordinate quite a few things here. So it's railways, it's roads. I'm sure there's some aviation infrastructure in there. So let's talk about all the things that you're responsible for as an agency.
The Central Corridor is a multimodal network system. So we are coordinating the logistic, railway, route, aviation, even pipelines. We are coordinating the project, but also inland waterways. We are there sitting in front chair coordinating all those projects. Why? Because for us, the infrastructure is the key issue for the seamless of cargo from the port of Dar es Salaam, from Tanga port, from Twara port, to these landlocked countries. Now, talking about the coordination, yes, it's not an easy work. because you are coordinating the project for 7 countries. Each country has its priority. But now at a regional level, we sit together during the board committee. We put together all countries' priority. Then we select which one can improve the regional economic growth. We call it regional project. And we pick the regional project. It can be based in the territory of one country, but will have the nature of a regional. So we pick it and we coordinate it. So this is how we are coordinating. And that is not easy, because there you have a road, you have railway, inland waterways, port, and so on. We have also aviation sector. And we have also facing to some challenges, because infrastructure is the key point for the development economic of each country.
With all, that regional coordination, it's difficult because each country has their own master plan, their own ideas of how their transport infrastructure is going to work and integrate and all the rest of it. How do you actually bring it all together? And when I talk about bring it all together, I'm saying, how do you get a common understanding of how a railway should integrate and operate, how that value chain should actually look like? How do you ensure that you don't get duplication of investments and assets?
First of all, we have an approach which is easy. Country consultation. We go to the consultation. Then we look at the master plan, priority master plan of each country. We see there is maybe railway. Let's talk about the railway, for example. Yeah. We see in DRC, they are interested with SGR. Tanzania with SGR. Burundi with SGR. Uganda, and so on. So then we advise those countries, because you have this priority. The other country, the same priority. Why can't you not sit together and sign an agreement, an MOU, so you can develop this project together as a regional project? So you see, this make our work easy because of that kind of consultation and the prioritization.
And you bring in the technical experts as well, am I correct? So that you've got the harmonization that builds into whatever is being built or signed or...
Exactly. So this is the first step. But there are also some projects where we engage the consultant. For example, talking about the transformation of the Central Corridor. This project, we engage a consultant. The consultant went around to all countries to identify the key priorities of each country. And the consultant established a criteria of selection of the priority of a project in order to come up with what we can consider as a regional project. And when he finished, we convened a regional meeting where all countries attended, and the consultant presented, and the country voted. You will see, for example, for those catalytic anchor project, some project marked, and these were retained on the list of the regional project. And there, for example, in case of a transformation of the Central Corridor, some projects like iron, steel, e-mobility, pharmaceutical, agriculture were on the top for regional value chain project that the countries, 7 countries, agreed. And that goes to the board, executive board of directors, which means the permanent secretaries who represent their countries. Okay. Now we have that list. Then we are going now to send again the consultant on the ground to go to the full feasibility study and the bankability. So then we are coming now to implement, to advise our countries to fundraise together.
How's this process paid for? Is it through the membership of each country? Is it like a power pool? Is it, I use the word power pool, like does every year does each country put money in to execute a certain project, and when I say execute a certain project, I'm talking about a feasibility or a technical study in order to get it to the next level. How are the technical consultants paid for?
There is two mechanisms. One is internal resources, and the second one is external resources. Talking about the internal resources, when the countries establish the organization, they set up what we call the user pay system. Yeah. The user pay system means each cargo, bulk cargo, passes through Dar es Salaam port. We charge 0.3 cents per ton. So now the Tanzania Port Authority and its partners, they collected that for all bulk cargo moving from Dar es Salaam port to the member state of the Central Corridor. So that levy constitutes the internal resources of the organization. Now that resources help us to operate as a secretariat, to pay the meetings, salary, to finance even some project, which is not very expensive. That money help us to do so. And with that resources, we rehabilitated, for example, 20 flatbed wagons for Uganda Railway Corporation. We rehabilitated 20 flatbed wagons for Tanzania Railway. The 40 wagons took almost 700,000 USD. This is what we spend with our own resources. But there are so many achievements with our internal resources. This just to show you that we are not there just to pick money of users and put in our salary, but we are also helping our users to develop those projects which help them to move their cargo from point A to point B. Our internal resources, what we did again, we are building now, as we are talking here, we are constructing the roadside station in Uganda at Masaka Mutukula border. So if you go there, you will find the construction. We equipped the control room of Tanzania Revenue Authority, which help now the TRI to monitor the movement of cargo from Dar es Salaam port to all borders of Tanzania to avoid the dumping of cargoes and so on. And this decrease even the number of engagement between human engagement. You know, wherever you are human, there are some behaviors. So with that control room now, they are able to see the movement of all trucks, all drives along the way from Dar es Salaam port to all borders of Tanzania. You see, this I'm talking about the financing arrangement to show you that what we receive with the user pay internally is helping us to fund some project. Yeah. Now, talking about the external resources, we have so many partners. We are working with the ADB, African Development Bank. We are working with the African Union Commission. We are working in partnership with the GIZ, which is from Germany. We are working together with the Queen Foundation. Recently, we are receiving now their fund. We are also working together with the World Bank. Even currently, we are in discussion with the World Bank. Yesterday, my team had a meeting in order to mobilize funds to finance it directly the project within the member states. We had even a partnership with the DBSA. Yeah. We have already received the fund from DBSA. So you see, this we fundraise in order to finance the development of a big project within the member states. Okay. Because we are not financially so big in terms for us to fund some big project which require a lot of money. Trademark Africa is one of our biggest donors, and we are working together since more than 10 years. That every year we receive the fund of a trademark from their account to the Central Corridor account, and it helps us to develop a lot of projects within our member states. Because our aim is to advocate and to mobilize funds in order to develop the infrastructure project along the Central Corridor member states.
So now I just want to come back and bring it all down to rail. Standard gauge, narrow gauge, Cape gauge. So you got three, and at some point everything also needs to talk to each other. And they are building new standard gauge, connecting with the region. The announcement recently with Burundi and Uganda and DRC. And break it down for me, please.
As I said, we are unique as a region, because in our region you have the three railway system. You have meter gauge, you have Cape gauge, but also you have now SGR. Well, now the most or the very new railway system now in the Central Corridor is what we call Central Corridor Standard Gauge Railway, which connects Tanzania to Burundi up to Kindu in DRC. This is a function. It is working, of course, but by lot. But we have also the MGR, which connects Dar es Salaam port up to Kigoma, up to Mwanza, and so on. We have also TAZARA, which is also working. But you see, we have a Cape gauge, we have a meter gauge, we have SGR. But at the same time, now it is where yesterday in my speech I said that the innovation should contribute to help us to move cargo smoothly within the corridor. Now the integration or the communication between the three systems, it is there, but is not much performed like to some countries or to some continent, but it is there. When you go to Kuala in Dar es Salaam, Kuala Dry Port, you will find that all three railway system interconnected. Okay. So yes, so it is functional. It is functional. Now there, our young people, they are working in a digital in order to help that the three system can continue to work together, and this will boost our economy. Why meter gauge while you have SGR? But now let's talk about it. Yes. SGR is the green transport model. Standard gauge railways, very green railway transport model. Currently, that is the ambition and the vision of our countries. Almost most of them want to build their SGR. Yeah. And this is, we appreciate a lot. So our flagship project at the Central Corridor Secretariat is SGR. Yeah. Because you have Tanzania, DRC, Burundi, Uganda, Rwanda, yeah, who want it, which means 5 out of 7 countries. Currently, you have a dynamic where you have the Central Corridor SGR built between Tanzania, Burundi, and the DRC. In Tanzania, you have some sections which are fully completed, like Tanzania, like Dar es Salaam to Dodoma, which is 450 kilometers. It is fully functional, passengers and the cargo.
So how are you connecting all 7? What does that plan look like for all 7 member states to be connected by rail?
Our master plan, which is under elaboration now, we need to connect. This is the ambition and the vision that we have. The first SGR is between Tanzania, Burundi, and the DRC. Where I talk to you, most of our sections are already under construction. In the Burundi side also, the construction has been started. Now, from Burundi to DRC, the study ongoing, and the feasibility study ongoing, and we expected to receive the final report before the end of this year. Immediately after that, we are going to fund mobilization and the procurement process. This is the planning. Now you have also Tanzania, Uganda, up to north part of DRC, Kisangani and so on. The country has already signed the memorandum of understanding. They signed it last month in Dar es Salaam. IPPF NEPAD through ADB Bank is involved to fund the feasibility study. The commitment is already there, and that project is already included in the work plan of the current financial year of IPPF AUDA NEPAD, IPPF NEPAD through ADB Bank. So this is the plan. Then we have also the plan to have Tanzania to connect to Rwanda through Isaka up to Kigali. So this is the plan that we have. Currently, in terms of SGR, this is the global picture that I can share with you and your audience in order to understand the development ongoing in Central Corridor region on SGR.
What lessons could you share with Southern Africa?
This is a very good lesson that I can share with the southern part of Africa, to have such project where 3 countries agree, sign, co-finance, and cooperate together. That is very fantastic. Very fantastic, and I think this is a very good lesson that I can share with all Africa.
Which I think is why it's so exciting right now for Zambia and what they're doing with Mozambique and Lobito Corridor and Zimbabwe and Nakala today with the MOU. I think it's fantastic to see what can be achieved when countries work together. So, and it would be wonderful to see more rail as a backbone. Not that one mode is better than another, because they all need each other, but it would be amazing to see more regional connectivity.
Regional connectivity is very important, and we have to unlock the full potential for Africa. You see, in Central Corridor region, where we are and where we are talking, apart the SGR, you have also TAZARA, which demonstrate also another example, another lesson of cooperation between nations, where you have Tanzania and Zambia, 2 African countries, and the government signed with Chinese fund in order to build that facilities. And it operated properly, but sometimes back it experienced some challenges. But today, again, the 2 governments agree to revamp their cooperation. So that is also very important to share in terms of regional connectivity. Currently, as I said yesterday, the economy of each country depends with the economy of another country. So there is no way to think that you are going to close your border and operate within yourself without knowing what is going to your neighbors. Africa should face trade with Africa. And the African Free Trade Area is our partner. We are working together, we signed an MOU, we are here to implement also that agenda. Because the Central Corridor cannot work isolated. We are working under the continental bodies, African Union Commission, ACFTA, and so on. So I think to boost the trade through the mechanism of ACFTA is very important. We support it, and we are pushing that agenda also.